Okay, lesson learned. The first thing you should do when you're recording a process video for YouTube is make sure it's under 15 minutes. Anyway, I'm doing a spread from the middle of September, 2 12x12 Design A page protectors. I have a lot of 3x4s this week. I'm actually making 1, 2, 3, 4 4x6s from 3x4s. Actually, I think I moved that down by 1 because I end up, like at the beginning it looks like I'm going to do 4, but I end up doing 3 because one of my stories I bump up to a 4x6 card, one of my written stories. So this spread has is a relatively low photo week. I think I was sick this week. That's what the photos. So you can see in the page protector that I have up on the scrap rack, there's a photo surrounded by 2 written cards. Those are all about how I was sick and homesick for a part of the week. And my boyfriend was very nice and brought me dinner and stuff to make sure I was eating, because I didn't feel like doing anything that week. But I did play a bunch of video games, so the top right-hand side of the page is all about me getting from 2 to 3 stars at a game I've been playing for months. I also have a lot of photos from around town that my boyfriend took, so there's one of the AC in our common area that was briefly a shell, and there's him playing a game of chess with somebody or watching somebody play chess, him seeing a street fair, and then just some little stories from the week. Although most of them are not super specific to this week, which I guess is what happens when you wait until November to do the middle of September spread. The title card on this one is for the story card from the detailed story kit from Allie Edwards. I really like that card. I've been waiting to have a time when I don't have some photo I want to use as the title card, because it's one of the only ones that has squares behind, sort of those rectangles behind the text, so the text is way more readable than it is otherwise. One thing I'm going to spend the vast majority of my time on this spread is this 4x6 card that I'm going to write about this meeting we have at work where we look at all our pipelines, and so the card is going to have a lot of green on it and some red and orange, and I'm finally getting to use one of these clocks from the time kit, which I've been oh my god, how am I going to use these things? I don't have anything like this, and I wouldn't have bought it in the sense that I don't really look at analog clocks a lot, and often the time of day doesn't matter a ton to my stories. But this week there are going to be clocks everywhere because the photos have timestamps on them. So thanks to Google Photos, everything this week that I know the time will have a time. But I'm first pulling them out because this meeting is at 9:15 every day. After some sketching, I realized that 9:15 would go straight across, and there is none of those on any of the stickers. But I do decide on 9:20 because we do it at the end of our meeting anyway. And so I'm figuring out which one is 9:20. I have to draw out the long and short hands and then rotate some of the stickers to try to figure out which one is which. I am embarrassed how long it takes me. This is very much spread up. This whole spread took me 4 hours in real time, and you're watching it in under 15 minutes, with mostly speeding up, and then the last 2 minutes I had to cut off when trimming to get down to 15. So I'm using my scrap rack to do this spread. So I have one sort of, I guess, binder of cards, and then I have a binder, the next section is stickers and letters and all the embellishments. And so I look through the first part when I want a card. In this case, I think I'm looking for a 4x6 card to write my story about the meeting at work. And so I'm going to end up I'm putting this one back, and then I'm going to get that green stripy one, but I'm not going to end up using that. I'm going to end up using a beige one because I want something that's not as bright, and also this bluish green doesn't go with the yellowish green of the alpha stickers I end up using. Also, none of these photos, almost not, I guess, well, the left-hand page is pretty good, but the right-hand page gets completely flipped around by the time I'm done. I'm not sure whether I should stop arranging the cards at the beginning and just work on one card at a time, because at some point I do sort of want the embellishments on the top versus the bottom of one card to the next. But for the most part, most of the effort that I'm putting into arranging these cards repeatedly doesn't matter, because mostly I stick some embellishments on each card and I'm done, or I do the journaling on each card and I'm done, and there's no real point in rearranging them repeatedly. So maybe if I worked through a stack of them, I could see how that effect works. Because a lot of them I end up rearranging at the end to make it sort of look right. And most of the stickers you can peel up if it really came to that. So maybe if I do a stack version, but I still have to make sure I have the right number of photos for the pockets. But I can do that by counting. And so I could lay it out once and kick out the photos, like that whiteboard photo that's under my right arm right now. That one's not going to make it into the spread. It did have a little bit of a story to go with it, but the story didn't make it better than the photos that I liked better that also had stories with them. Like the lower left one is my boyfriend like finally getting a license in the city after we moved, since we've moved here. And he took a photo because there was a bug on one of the a problem with one of the signs. But I like the photo, even if I don't think he was like necessarily trying to compose it that way. And it's like reminds me of like exactly this was the week that happened, that he got went and like got a local driver's license instead of the one from a previous state. I really like these Tim Holtz words. I have the chit chat words, and it's nice because usually if you're writing like all sentence or something, you want to sort of de-emphasize the little connector words and emphasize whatever topic words you have. So I'm going to use those Jelly Beans green stickers, sort of like snot green, although snot isn't actually that color, but bright yellowy green. I'm going to use the black words on a white background so that they blend into the card more, so that green is the main part of how it's green. How green is it? There ends up being a fair amount of journaling on the spread. Like in the top row on the right, there's a whole card devoted to my video game and how much I like it and how I got from 2 to 3 stars, and like strategy guides are helpful. And each of those, I have 3 Persnickety Prints retro prints in this spread. Those are the 3x3 photos with a little room to journal underneath, so they form a 3x4 card. So one of them is the old style where they actually had like a little white border, so it looked more like a Polaroid print, but then Polaroid got mad at them, so now they just do a 3x3 photo with an inch of white space underneath, which Amy Gretchen totally does the same thing with some white cardstock, but I go for convenience in my scrapbooking. Despite spending 4 hours on a spread, I went for convenience, and so I just use a slick writer to write on the bottom of the card instead of, which means I get to do less digital editing. I just need to make it a square, and somebody else deals with putting some white at the bottom, because I don't find it particularly exciting to sort of assemble the cards, especially when I'm really bad at cutting square corners, straight lines, centering anything. So this is the point at which I swap out that green card for the beige one, when I realize that the bluish green on the diagonal stripe 4x6 notes cards, that's from LA Studio, and I'm switching to one from Ali Edwards that's sort of a beige on beige dot pattern. I guess it's sort of orangey. And so I'm going with the green letters to write green. I'm also going to use some stars from that sheet in red and green, because our build pipeline at work has green when something passes, red when it fails, and then orange and yellow are these sort of in-between not good states. Well, yellow is running, so yellow's not bad, but orange is bad. And so I'm going to write the question we ask every day at our stand-up meeting: how green is it? And then we look at the pipelines. And my other embellishments are going to be mostly green, but also some red and orange, since those are other states the builds end up in. This card is going to have a lot of tiny journaling at the bottom, just about that segment of our meeting. I like that I used up some of my off-white things on this spread. There's like, I end up using 3 3x4 cards from the Becky Higgins Midnight cardstock 3x4 set, which like I've already used up the ones I like the best from that set, which are like the darker gray and the lighter gray and the black. And I don't like the off-white or the bright yellow. They're very hard for me to use. I would be much happier with just a pack of, I guess, grayscale cardstock. But it is what it is, and I guess I'm not sure whether I like approve of stretching creatively by using supplies that I'm not a big fan of. But I'd already used 2 on this spread like during the week, so I was stuck with using up some more off-white stuff. There's 2 sections. I think they're about equally long. I like the color in the video better in this one, so I'm going to need to see if I can figure out what's going on there. You can see on the far right and left, so I'm working on a card table. I have my scrap rack in front of me, and then the cards closer to me than the scrap rack. That's the, I guess it's the craft binder. It holds 3 binders, like sort of three ring binders, and then you fill those pages up with your supplies, and so you can flip through them and organize them. I'm working on a card table because I live in a New York City apartment, and we don't really have room for a permanent area, so all of my supplies go in the binder, and then I can pull out the card table and easily pull everything out to set up and work. The ladder around me is because I have my iPad balanced on a piece of cardboard on the ladder so that I can get this like bird's eye view of my setup, and so you can pretend you're looking over my shoulder. It works surprisingly well, although my boyfriend keeps running into the ladder, so I'm going to have to find a different solution that doesn't involve him stubbing his toes constantly. Which actually, like, usually we have some photos from inside the apartment, but I guess I was sick that week, so there's like one selfie, and I was just not feeling it, other than playing a lot of video games. Which is also, I guess, one section of why I'm so far behind in my scrapbooking, because I didn't feel up to it that week, even though I was home a bunch, and I think there were a couple other things that derailed me since then. I am really glad that I used the clocks, I used the ribbons, I used a lot of hard-to-use things on this spread, including the off-white stuff. I also got to use my stamps, like the week I was making the card with the hearts on it, I got to use my heart stamps. I've been trying to use my stamps more as an excuse to get more of them. I also, so, feel like, now that I'm doing the voiceover, it's like the week after Black Friday, and I bought a bunch of stuff. But the other, like, thing I've been trying to do is move more towards using, like, white cardstock blanks and my stamps to make more of my cards instead of using pre-printed cards. Just because I feel like the more of it I do myself, often the more I like it. I like when there's a lot of writing. My boyfriend likes when there's a lot of writing. I like when I take nice photos. The photos are a thing I make. Since this is sort of my, like, I guess my equivalent of a journal / art journal / photo journal, it's, like, important that I do as much of the art myself as I would like to. And I like stamping, but I don't like the cards that I make when I stamp. I'll do a flip through at some point and point out some of the cards that I make myself, but I haven't figured out how to make ones I really like that, like, look, I guess I want them to look professional even though I want to make them myself. But we'll see. Maybe I should subscribe to the story stamp, since a lot of Ellie Edwards' cards are sort of like the same shape as her stamps, but I'm not sure whether these stamps are the problem. I got a bunch more stamps, so I guess I'll find out as I try to make more cards. These are more off-white hexagon stickers. I'm a sucker for journaling spot stickers because I know I use them, but I did not realize when I ordered these online that they were off-white. So I regret that a bit. I just didn't think about, oh yeah, they're all warm colors and the whole picture is warm because it's actually this off-white cardstock. Otherwise I like them. I just, and I'm like, they're actually matte, so I can write them with the Muji pen and not the Slick Writer. It's just, like, annoying because they're going to be kind of hard to use if I don't have other off-white stuff, and I'm trying to reduce my off-white stuff, so, well, that's how it goes, I guess. My next video is probably going to be my very lengthy organizing video, so this is sort of the before version when I only have some of my stuff in my craft rack, and then a bunch of, like, other embellishments when I got overwhelmed with organizing stuff into the craft rack are set aside. So my next video is going to be very sped up and also very long at the same time. I mean, I guess I'll have to split it up since apparently iMovie will only upload 15 minutes at a time. I end up liking this title card a lot because I basically add like another white rectangle with the dates for this week. It's too small to read in the video, but it's very readable in real life. Anyway, see you on the other side of scrapbook organizing when I get to actually scrapbook again after I put away all of my embellishments and hopefully receive my Studio Calico embellishments and cards and mystery box soon so that I can organize those too. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any tips. Bye.